Hello, brothers and sisters, flying dog. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense. I try to keep it down under like fucking under 10 minutes. I don't want to bore your asses. If you go over 10 minutes, that's just something very important. You put down your suggestions, your insults, your even insults. If you got insults, you gotta have a video or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't make fun of you, you can't make fun of me, so you ain't gonna have no comments posted about me, and I can't make no fun of you. And that just don't happen. Now someone else may allow it, but I don't allow it because I think that's boring and it's a waste of space. Okay. It can get comical when I look on other people's pages and they insulting the motherfucker who's just making a video. I'm like, hey, these are idiots. Most of them are idiots. Okay, they didn't make no sense and it wasn't funny at all. It was no discussion. Okay, I told you, bright minds think of ideas and questions. Okay, lower minds talk about people. They talk about it, insult you. Okay, all right. Okay, let's keep that out of the way. Inquisitive minds are even the highest. Okay, they don't just think of ideas. They ask questions. Okay, so they can have their own ideas. But anyhow. This video is the continuation. I'm sorry about the video, the first one. Okay, this is the Origins version 1. Okay, this is the part 2 because my phone just fucking just cut off on me and my fucking power saver or some shit. It was a fucking battery, okay? It's cut off, okay? And so, this is part 2 of version 1. So, if you want me to create a version 2 of this creation story, fine, okay, alright? Let me continue on. Anyhow, the Anunnaki, the alien grays, and the lizard people finally created this super master slave Caucasoid thinker, okay, who has the capability of hot blood and can live in cold temperatures. All right? Okay, you know how the white man they love that cold temperature and it don't seem to affect them. You got to be careful. Black Negroes got to watch out because they don't understand the composition and shit. They just don't use common sense. I'm like, yo, niggas ain't going to be lasting too long in no cold, okay? Okay. That's just a fact. They ain't gonna live too long in no woods either. They don't. That's not their habitat. Okay. But okay. To continue on. Eventually, the Anunnaki received the gold. They got the gold that they needed. They had to rebuild their fucking atmosphere. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? They rebuild their fucking atmosphere and just fucking left. Okay, now I'm not gonna talk about the moon that crashed, okay, because everybody talking about the fucking moon and the asteroid belt or whatever. I'm just trying to tell you they eventually left. There was no war with Anunnaki no more because they both lost. The Greys and the fucking reptilian lizard beings, motherfucker. Those reptilian lizard beings got banished to planet Earth. Eventually, when the Anunnaki left out of his orbit, okay, after their moon got destroyed, whatever the fuck it was, they basically had war. The alien Greys and the lizard people had war with each other. I'm like, oh shit, I wanted to know. The Mahabharata, the Vishnu records, all that shit, they said it was atomic war beyond anything. The white man was living with them and shit. And I was like, they lived on Atlantis. And I told you this little extra stuff in this video, okay? I didn't say in my Martha's Knowledge Facebook page, okay? All right. Now they lived in Atlantis. They lived in the mountains, Caucasoid Mountains. They lived underground. They lived in fucking caves. They had to move the caves because there was no match for the fucking alien Greys nor the fucking lizards. There was no match. So they catacombed that motherfucker. They had that shit under construction. Okay. They lived in the caves in the ground. Okay. Okay. It wasn't Africans there. Okay. So those ancient caves that's digging, zigzagging. Okay. I'll tell you about that. Eventually, the alien Greys worked together with the humans. Okay. All right, and the lizard people gave them some warlike mentality. Okay, you know what I'm saying? They interjected because it was a weaker race. So why would they have fights with the Caucasoid race? That's where you got the Odin and all these other shit gods coming in. Because the white man was worshiping with all sorts of different deities and gods. Okay, so the alien Greys went hollow Earth. The fucking lizard beings they got them shits together and went on another fucking planet. They left out of the atmosphere to live on the moon. They got satellites and fucking Saturn and shit and the moon on. All sorts of moons and shit. They got satellites. They ain't no joke, man. I'm like, damn, they can go out in space and shit like that. They rebuild their shit and they left. There ain't no more lizards here. There's ship-shapers here. That's another story. I'm not talking about them, okay? I'm just saying that a part of their races are here and some of them left. Okay, even some of them aliens is probably still out in space and shit. But they have satellites. They ain't no joke. They said that they created their own hybrid species. The lizard race created their own other hybrid species. That shit get confusing and fucking deep, man. So what happened is that after they left, okay, after the lizard people left and shit, they had to reform their faces so they can fit in with the human race, okay? You know what I'm saying? They had to metamorphosized. There's other species that lived on this planet too, you know what I'm saying? And I told you, this planet has existed for billions of years. You know, the ones who can actually create suns out of almost nothing was the Anunnaki races. They can create suns and shit. They know how to harness energy through your fucking soul. That's ridiculous, right? Right? Okay, I told you this is version 1. This is hot, baby. It's hot. And so what happened is that, hey, turn that down, please. Come on, baby. Come on. You can't be on my TV show, okay? You can't be on my TV show if you want to be rude, okay? Okay, now, and I'm like, turn that down. Put your headsets on, man. That shit is annoying. It's scary. She's like, listen to Jesus juice and shit. She's hypnotized by that shit. She loves that shit in this country. But that's beside the point. I'm not going to skip lots of the subject. But anyhow, the aliens lived in Hollow Earth. Look it up. And everybody always talk about the satellites and shit with the lizard people. They just watching us. They keeping us in our atmosphere and shit. We're just evolved species, a lower-minded species in the vessel. All right? So what happened is that eventually they lived on Atlantis and shit like that, you know, and they started creating the white Caucasoids was like getting lonely and shit. So they eventually wanted to create other species because they had the technology. They have the technology today. Ain't no blacks creating no fucking no fucking lamb in no fucking laboratory. Lamb in a laboratory. Think about that. What a coincidence of the words. Lamb in a fucking laboratory. Sheep in a laboratory. I love me some lamb. I love it, okay? It's tender, okay? It's more tastier than chicken, okay? So, they automatically genetically altering shit, trying to learn as much knowledge as they can from the lizard people and also the aliens that already live on the planet who went into the earth, Agartha and shit. You know, and then you got the Admiral Baird and stuff. Admiral Baird. 1930s. Come on, y'all. Come on now. That's the shit. That's scary, isn't it? Right? So these white crackers who lived on the Atlantis and they pretty much lived in underground and lived in they had the connections, okay? So they started the first race they built was the African race. They say the white man is of the fire, okay? All right, they say the black man is of the water. And the first race they built was the black man. And they wanted to use them for entertainment purposes. The water is the key. Harmony is the key. Sex is the key. So they created the African race, the darker jet black. I'm not talking about the brown, the faded down water type, color type afros. Okay? And what happens is that they brought them up so they can be their secondary slaves. This, subjects, okay? Just basically slaves, okay? You do this and I told you to do this and you're going to make me laugh. And we're going to have sex with all your offspring. Okay? So that's how it was from the beginning, from the jump, okay? Okay, I'm not talking about the Egyptian story here now. Okay, so on the Anunnaki side of the version, okay, the white Caucasoid version. And what happened is that they was the jesters, okay, the funny man, okay. You see how the black man, okay, I got the nose, I'm a mixed breed, like I'm a mixed bag of motherfuckers. I'm a mixed bag of motherfuckers, okay. I got a little bit Indian in me, I got white in me, I got African in me. Think about how billions of years and you got all these mixed genes of different races and stuff, you know. So then they created the third race, which is the Indian race, to harvest the earth, which is the red man. Hey ho, hey ha, hey ho, hey ho. And both of them worked in harmony with one another, the blacks and also the Indians, because they were basically grinding the earth. It was about the earth. Harmony with the earth. You see the Indians are like, ho ho, smoke the pea pipe, making up the drugs and stuff like that. You say, mysticism and all that. So the Indians has always lived in the woods, okay? They were the lower species, okay? They didn't give a fuck about anything. You got the West Indian, you got the East Indian, okay? They was harnessing the earth, helping the Caucasoids, okay? The Caucasian in the city of Atlantis. Think about that shit. Okay? Then the fourth race now was Chinese. So they can have someone that's a companion. They can almost think the same way. That's why the Chinese is always copying off the Caucasoids. The Chinese is always copying. Isn't the Chinese always copying off the Caucasoids? Right, my love? She sleeps. She's knocked out. We had a fight earlier, and I won. I always win the fight. Even if she leaves, I win. You think I'm joking, right? I stripped her, okay? Hey, be careful. Hey. In a fight, okay? Okay, but anyhow, the fourth race is the Chinese, Oriental. Wait. Okay, you see how short they are, and they also copy off the Caucasoids? You got the German, you know the Germans, that's what I told you, the blue-eyed, blonde-haired devils. They were the ones that they created an atomic bomb. You get the Caucasoids think they're the original Caucasoid. But no. Hitler already knew that shit. He was already talking to the Zeta Betanins. He told them a little bit of history and shit, and used hypnosis to. Hitler was the shit again. That's all I gotta say. He's still alive. That motherfucker's still alive. The Caucasoids are like, hell, Hitler. They still worship that motherfucker. They still got the fucking Confederate flag. They both the same, man. They both the same. All right? You heard me, my love? That shit is crazy. They living in America, living large. You think Hitler's dead? But anyhow, the fourth race was the Orientals. That's the Genghis Khan. You see, they warlike. Because the Africans, they learned that shit from the Orientals. And then the Indians, they learned that from the Orientals. Because the white man was like, the Caucasoids, you ain't learning that shit from us. We got guns. We got lasers and shit. We got bombs now, okay? I told you that's the German side. Okay? I told you that's the fucking German side. But anyhow, so Americans thought they was the shit, okay? But that's another history. But let me continue on with the story. Eventually, there's a fifth race called the Dingjum Spirit, okay? What do we call it? The fifth race is Elementals. Okay, and I'm like, yo, and they created them too? That's why we got these fucking ghosts floating around and shit. We got fucking demons looking at you and shit. Crossbreed specimens that did not make it through the system too well. And I'm like, that shit is scary as hell too, man. You got spirits that can actually fuck you up, okay? All right, the Dingjums, Djinn, okay? The jinns, the genie in the bottles. The Caucasoids created that shit too. The alien Greys worked together to make them. I said, that shit is ridiculous, man. And I don't even know too much about them. I know that the fucking the Muslim people, they know about them motherfuckers. The Dingjums in the fucking bottle. Okay, what you doing, man? Yeah, it is kind of strong, yeah. Yeah, it's strong. They say those air fresheners are they have carcinogens in them, and they could cause you to get cancer. It's kind of strong, yeah. It smells good. It's just too strong. It should be like a light scent or something like that. But you understand the concept of the story now, okay? That's the one version. If you want me to create another version, I will. But you already see you got 5 different species. Ether, the white man was the fire. The black man was the water. The Indian man was the red, the lava, okay? You want to say, or earth, okay? The Chinese man was the air, okay? Because they was more mental and shit. They was artistic. They created them for artistic purposes. They created Oriental man for it's kind of like understanding and agreeing what the Caucasoids do, because the Caucasoids are the ones who created the technology, right? And only the Chinese be copying and shit. That's why you have everything made in fucking China. Okay, and it's be shipped back and forth because they got slave workers over there. Okay, the oligarchies over here is white or illuminated ones. Okay, this is secret shit. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with none of the things they can do. They're the bosses. Okay, this is the animal kingdom, motherfuckers. Right now, okay. So now you got war with. You really can't have war with the Caucasoid race. So you already know 70% of the world is dominated by the Caucasoids, okay, and through wars, okay, many wars, okay. So that's a lost cause, and that's a waste of time, okay. They have the technology, okay. The Africans have the dancing and the sex appeal, okay. And the Orientals are short, okay. Ooh, wait. And they can like to copy off the Caucasoids, so they got part of the technology. They're secondary technology people, and they're also good at with anime too. So and they got the Indian people. Hey ho, it's the drugs. Right, the drugs. Ayahuasca and shit. That shit's always in the trees somewhere. You got them drugs, they don't tell you about it until you, hey, ho, hey. They tell you the aliens and shit. They tell you about the spirit deities. They are just with nature, man. Yo, you don't never see no true Indians anymore in America, especially. They just completely annihilated. They're just gone. But not the Far East Indians. They're a different breed, okay? Now, since you understand now the creation story of all of them, including the fifth one, the Dingems, they're in a league in their own. Okay, the motherfuckers, Lilith and all that other shit. That's another story. Okay, but I'm already at 15 minutes. Okay, that's it. Version 1 concluded. Now, if you want me to make a version 2 about the Egyptian story or the Norse god mythology type shit or Zeus, you basically get down to me and ask me the question. Create the next one, motherfucker. And you have a nice fucking day. Just like Bob Ross. But I'm not going to paint you no pictures, ruin slow motion out here. Just telling the story like it is. What I learned. I may have missed the little pieces and bits and pieces, but it doesn't matter. They say there's over like 2,000 different species. Okay. So, our humans got to wake the fuck up. Okay. Peace and love to you, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. Peace out.